Welcome back to Update Day in Old School, and this week's update we have some highly anticipated changes to the Revenant's cave, as well as a few unexpected changes to the original Deadman worlds. First up, for the Rev Cave changes, they apologize for the severe lack of content that they've implemented into the wilderness, but with that content like the loot keys and wilderness bosses will still be coming in 2022. On top of that, some features that are already being looked at for the next update batch will include the Wilderness Slayer Cave improvements and the introduction of the PJ timer throughout the wilderness for both players and NPCs. Now for the important changes that they made with today's update. First up, the number of Rev Cave teleport drops will be increased from 1 to a number between 1 and 10. Revenant loot tables now have an extra chance to drop blighted items in addition to their normal loot, and multiple items on the normal drop table will appear in greater quantities. And here's a big kicker one to help balance out the risk versus reward aspect of the caves. Most drops from Rev NPCs are no longer noted unless you have an Amulet of the Avarice equipped. They've also changed how Revenants heal. They now have a cooldown that begins once they have healed, preventing them from healing again for at least 9 seconds. With that though, they are now guaranteed to heal whenever they attack while you're below half HP, so long as their heal is ready and not already on cooldown, and they can only heal themselves a total of 8 to 36 times before being able to heal again. I don't know what the original value for this number, but 36 sounds incredibly excessive. But to end off the Rev changes, we still have they've doubled the number of Revenants throughout the entire cave, and defeated Revs will now respawn 33% faster. Definitely interested to see how this is going to shake up the meta, especially how much GP you can expect per hour, because Revenants were pretty brutal. If you haven't already seen, I have a couple videos covering Revenants post-nerf a while back and see how much GP you can make, and I'm definitely going to be jumping in and putting those videos head to head with the new buff table. But now for some unexpected change, we have Deadman world changes. And in my opinion, these are some very necessary changes that have basically just been overlooked for quite some time. These are things like giving Deadman worlds access to the blast furnace. When closing banks, players are now blocked from eating food or drinking potion for a couple ticks, similar to how it worked in the seasonal. Pest control is now available and playable. You can now put certain items into packs, some of which include the cannon. Players who die during PvP may now lose 10% of their unprotected skills, and PVM deaths for unscalded players do not affect anything. Rune and Archer shops will restock faster. And once again, similar to seasonal, Scald players entering guarded zones will no longer be instantaneously frozen. Instead, the guards will just express their frustration by shouting and attacking and damaging you with more damage over time. But finally, to end off with a big kicker that'll be a massive change to the original Deadman world, and that is when killing NPCs in the wilderness, there is now a small chance to receive the Vesta equipment, being the spear, longsword, Statius hammer, the Morrigan's axes, javelins, and the Zerial staff. They did note though that the chances of getting these drops will be lower than they were in the seasonal and tourney worlds. All in all though, some very necessary and very solid changes to the original Deadman worlds, basically kind of bringing them up to par with what our seasonals are looking like currently. But with that, that is everything for this week's update. If you guys did enjoy or found it helpful, make sure to drop a like. It absolutely helps me out. And if you're not already, hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys in some future videos.